to our every BBNaija roundup. Now this is where we give you everything happening in the lockdown house as the day drop. Now I hope you had a lovely weekend, and this is me bringing you everything that happened over the weekend. So yes, put on your seatbelts because it's about to be a ride. My name is Judith, and let's jump right into this roundup. Praise won the BBNaija Arena game on Friday, and I knew he was looking forward to it. Like, you could see how happy he was. He was expecting that win, so congrats to him, although he's out of the house now. Anyway, moving on from that, after the arena games, the housemates decided to play the game of the Oracle. Remember that last weekend, Ebuka called Neo out on the whole Oracle thing, like, okay, why are you not bringing the Oracle back? So Neo decided that this week he's giving it to you people, Oracle style. Not before Trikytee had a conversation with Neo, though. Trikytee said that Neo his relationship is a bit, here and there, because V had a way of controlling him. And I'm like, okay, Tricky, are you in the relationship with them? So after saying that they moved on to the Oracle games, it was fun and it was risky. I would say that one, I would say it for a fact. So the game started and they were doing a lot of, rated 18 things. Now, first off, it was Nengi and Laycon. Laycon picked Nengi to exhibit sex styles, and Nengi accepted. Also, on the other hand, was like, he wanted to pass out. Anyway, after that, Erica was supposed to pick somebody to do something with, and she picked Laycon, and he said he would rather drink. Is this you, Laycon? Yes, he said he would rather drink than do what Erica wanted him to do. Tolanibaj and Prince, on the other hand, I don't know what's going on, because Tolanibaj was supposed to do a dare with two guys, and as usual, she picked her boo first, and Prince was like, no, I'm not interested, I'd rather drink. Wow. Tolanibaj was like, oh, so you're embarrassing me in front of everybody. He was like, no, I don't feel like doing anything. But a few minutes later, somebody else picked Prince and he went, but I won't say anything about that. Moving on from the games. Saturday morning came and the housemates were their usual, eating, gisting, just having fun around the house. Now, there was a sponsored task for the housemates. Biggie has not been around, but Kidwire announced it. They were supposed to, the task was in two parts, right? There was the singing part and the choreography part. And at the end of the task, Laycon's team won for the singing, while Praise's team won for choreography. No surprise there. Both teams won 1 million naira each. Congratulations to them. After the games happened, Neo was in a mood. He said that he was feeling quite unlucky because other housemates had like millions in their accounts already, while he just had 125,000 naira, and he wanted it to just, he wasn't just feeling it. He was like, why am I so unlucky? He was in conversation with Triky, and then we moved on from that. Now, Neo and Triky, I don't understand those two. They had a fight, and the center of that fight was semo. I'll explain. So Neo went to the house. The housemates were preparing semo for everybody to eat. So V wasn't feeling well. We saw that she was taking medications. She had cramps, and Neo was trying his best to take care of her. Now he went to meet the housemates, like, okay, what are we having for dinner? And they said semo. I was like, oh, this girl V doesn't eat semo, so how are we going to do it? He didn't mind eating semo. He doesn't select food, like he has said over and over again. So he said eating semo since V wasn't ready. Now V came in, saw him eating semo, and was upset, like, oh, I don't eat semo. Why are you eating semo? And he tried to pacify her, okay, I'll make poundo for you. Eat poundo, and she was upset. She's like, she's not going to eat. So the thing really set Neo off, and he's like, why is she acting like this? Like, I'm trying my best to make her feel comfortable, but she keeps making this difficult for me. And then both of them fought. Neo was like, he's done, he's tired, he doesn't want to do this anymore. And V was talking to other people. She was like, oh well, she doesn't want to break up with Neo, but he's pissing her off. I'm like, are the both of you on the same page? Because it doesn't seem like it. Saturday night party, it's always a groove, but something was different this time around. For the first time since BBNaija 2020, Neo and Judith were together. Remember, they had a fight about semo and food. So they came into the party. Neo was having fun though, but you will see V, she was just there like, and everybody was asking her, V, what's wrong? Are you okay? People were trying to settle the fight in the party. I'm like, people should not angry me. Why are you settling a fight in the middle of a party? We are trying to dance. DJ Obi is doing his best, guys. So yeah, that happened. They weren't dancing with each other. V was really upset, although she caught up later on in the party, but it was a bit too late. She was upset for the most part of the party. Erica came in, Laycon came in, Ozo came in, like, what's wrong with you? Liven up, just for the party's sake. She eventually did. Now, after the party, something happened between Dora, Batoni, and Brighton. So there's a love triangle, let me just call it a triangle for now, between Brighto, Dorothy, and Watoni. After the party, Prince called Dorothy aside and said, I noticed that you like Brighto. Dorothy said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. She was trying to deny. I'm like, Dora baby, we know. So yeah, she said that Prince said he knew that she liked Brighto. She was like, yes, she does, but she wasn't going to indulge him because he would distract her from her game. Now, after that, she had a conversation with Watoni where she called Watoni aside and said, you know what, girl, I think there's a triangle between me, you, and Brighto, but I would rather lose Brighto than lose a friendship with you. And what are we going to do about this? I think he's taking the both of us, like he's catching cruise with the both of us. So let's do something. Both girls planned a prank. Watoni said, you know what, okay. He met me to say that I should sleep in his bed. I agreed. I told him I'll get back to him. I didn't exactly agree. And then I was like, okay, well, he met me to saying the same thing. And both girls were like, he's playing us. So let's play him too. And they planned that Dora will go to his bed for 15 minutes. And then if he was comfortable with Dora, she would just sneak out, come and tell Watoni, like, look, this is the situation of things. And then Watoni will know what to do from there. But Dora went to Brighto's bed. She was with him. Brighto wasn't really talking to her or anything. He was gisting with everybody, general gist. Laycon from nowhere came into the middle of both of them. I'm like, Laycon, can't you read the room? What's going on? So he came between the both of them. He laid down. He was gisting with Dorothy, which was a good thing because Brighto wasn't really talking with Dorothy. So he was gisting with Dorothy and then he left. Dorothy was still bored. And I'm like, Dorothy, did you forget that you had an agreement with somebody outside? For 15 minutes. Let me tell you what my girl did. She slept off. She slept off on the bed. Watoni was waiting for her in the garden, waiting, okay, 10, 5 minutes, but nothing. So eventually, Watoni started talking with V. Now, Watoni told V the whole thing that happened between her, Dorothy, and how Brighto was in the mix of both of them. And V was like, I think, this guy is catching cruise with both of you. Like, based on what I know. And then Watoni was like, well, Prince told her the same thing, but she wasn't going to take Prince's word because he was in a similar situation with her, Tolanibaj, and Nengi. So he had no rights to tell her that somebody is using her to catch Prince. So she was cancelling his own opinion. But now he was saying it, maybe it was beginning to make sense to her. She said the same thing to Tolanibaj, and Tolanibaj was like, I mean, if it's a Brighto I know, I think he's catching cruise with the both of you. So Watoni told V about the plan she had with Dora. And she was like, oh, she hasn't seen Dora, that it was supposed to be 15 minutes. V now, lawyer friend, she's like, don't worry, I'll go and check for you. And then she went out, came back, she was like, she's still there. Not knowing that this one was planning to sleep. I'm talking about Dora. Dora slept off, just went pew. Anyway, after Dora slept off, guess what happened? Brighto carried Watoni outside of the room and they went to the garden. I'm like, this is a sign. Yeah, it's a very clear sign for Dora and everybody to see if he could carry Watoni out. And then when he took her to the garden, Watoni was like giving off an attitude. All these things now, like, oh, I'm upset, but I don't want to say I'm upset. And then Brighto asked her, like, what, are you upset? Are you angry? And she was like, but you asked me to sleep in your bed, so why is it I'm coming and I'm seeing somebody else? Who was like, don't worry, just forget it. She tried to cover up the whole situation. I was like, bright. So Sunday, you know how it is on Sunday, the housemates always, making their hair, trying to look put together for the eviction. So while everybody was in the salon making their hair, next thing you know, they just heard housemates. Everywhere scattered. They were not expecting Biggie, so they were so excited. Little did they know. If they knew what Biggie had planned for them, honestly, they would have sent him back. Like, Biggie, we don't want. Go home, go back for your vacation. 2 weeks, please. So yeah, Biggie called them all together, sat down and started dishing out strikes. You won, you too, you won. Yes, I'm talking about Kidwire, Tolanibaj, Erica, and also. Now, Kidwire's only was a big disappointment. Remember, he had a task for Biggie, a special task to make sure that the housemates don't know what's going on. Give them a story. I don't know what you're going to tell them, but make them believe that you're in charge for this week. But Kidwire failed. And then also he had an issue with the head of house lounge. Yes, Big Brother gave him a strike for allowing Erica stay in the lounge till 3 a.m. Yes, remember Big Brother said you can allow your visitor come, but not sleep over. Yes, don't sleep over. So Erica stayed up till 3 a.m. So he gave him a strike for that, gave Erica a strike for that, and gave Tolanibaj a strike for that. And in addition to that, Kidwire would not participate in the head of house games for 2 weeks. In addition to the 1 week he's been exempted, so that's 3 weeks. And then Tolanibaj didn't participate for a week. And then Erica got second strike. My darling, your leg is shaking in the Big Brother house. So yes, after getting a strike for staying in the head of house lounge for till 3 a.m., She got another strike for whispering. You know, Big Brother is against whispering, which is the same reason also got a strike as well. He was whispering. So that was it. He dished that out and just told them, look, you people misbehaved. And in addition to that, everybody will have no access to hot water till further notice for bad behavior. So now, if you know you have cold, I don't know how you're going to sort yourself out, but no hot water for you in the house. Yes. And now in the evening, evictions came, and as usual, Ebuka shaking tables. He started with Brighto. You see Brighto? Let's not go into this matter. So he asked Brighto about what she said concerning Neo being fake and being a liar, and Brighto was like, I can't recall. Sorry, I didn't say anything. Did you? Was there a cut? No. I didn't say what she said, I said. And Ebuka was like, but I have proof. He said, Ebuka, I did not say it now. I didn't say, I cannot remember. If it didn't happen today, it did not happen at all. So yeah, that was it. So Ebuka called the housemates, the 4 housemates that were up for eviction. I'm talking Watoni, Trikytee, V, and Praise. And there was a tie, yes, between Watoni and Praise. Kidwaya was the one who broke that tie by voting for Watoni. Yes, and that was the reason why Praise went home. He was 6 votes in, and Watoni was 6 votes in as well. And Kidwaya's votes made his 7. Now, that was not all that happened yesterday. Nope. Ebuka also shook the table between V, Laycon, and Erica. He asked V why she was God forbidding Erica and why she said all the things she said about Erica to Laycon. And V was like, well, Laycon is my friend, so I'll have his back first. And then everything that she said was not like, she had no malicious intent whatsoever, but she was just watching out for her friend. This really upset Erica because after the eviction show, she was upset. She was talking to Kidwaya, who is like her confidant in the house. She was talking to him and saying that she felt bad about what V did, considering the fact that she thought V was her friend. And Kidwaya said, well, I don't think she had any malicious intent, but you can talk to her about it, which she did, and the whole matter just died down. Now, this ship between Lucy and Praise has been broken. What's going to happen after? So now, the ship between Lucy and Praise has been broken. What's Lucy going to do? And also, we're on the watch out for what's going to happen between Dora, Watoni, and Brighto. I don't know how this thing is going to pan out, but we are here for it. And now that 3 housemates are out of the head of house challenge for like 2 weeks, who's going to win today? I can't wait to see it, and I know you can't too. So that's why you should stay tuned to us. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Judith, and until next time, stay safe.